Hello guys, welcome back. This is Divyanshu Vyas and we are talking about things related to reservoir engineering, and we have covered a lot of topics like we have covered porosity, we have covered routine core analysis and saturation, and we have talked about how to imagine porosity, how to imagine permeability, and how to think like a reservoir engineer. We've started little steps, and in the last class we talked about the theory related to porosity and saturation, and this is the in a nutshell what we talked about. Porosity is pore volume by bulk volume, and you can write pore volume as a bulk volume minus the grain volume divided by the bulk volume. Now if you calculate, bulk volume is normally available by the dimensions or by the Archimedes principle. What Archimedes did was he took a fluid container, maybe water, of a known density, and then he subsided or submerged a sample, a core sample जिसका हमको porosity निकालना है. He submerged that sample into the that container, and the volume of the fluid that was displaced, that must be equal to the bulk volume, right? And that is how Archimedes used to find out the bulk volume. So these are the two methods by which you can find out. Either you calculate the dimensions using the vernier calipers or things like that, or you can use the Archimedes principle, right? And then once you have bulk volume, the grain volume can be simply found out by crushing the rock and measuring the volume. So that gives you the grain volume, and measuring the weight and then dividing by the density is actual way to calculate the grain volume, and that can be used into this formula, which will give you a porosity, and that porosity value is the total porosity this way. So there are other methods to calculate porosity. We'll understand how by the end of this lecture you'll have a clear understanding of the definition of the porosity, as well as आपको ऐसा intuition सा feel होगा कि अब मुझे porosity I have understood, I know porosity क्या scene है. ठीक है, तो आज हम न्यूमेरिकल्स करने वाले, थोड़ा सा मज़ा आएगा आज. तो सबसे पहले आई विल ट्राई टू एक्सप्लेन यू सबसे पहले हम लोग थोड़ा पैकिंग स्ट्रक्चर्स के ऊपर न्यूमेरिकल करेंगे. पैकिंग पैकिंग स्ट्रक्चर्स. आपको पता है कि अगर आप एक क्यूब के अंदर इफ़ यू फिल very congested, if you fill balls inside a cube or inside a room, if you ask 10 people to collect in a room in a very clustered way, you are creating a dense environment. Similarly, if you ask them to scatter along, you are creating a porous environment. The porosity, you can imagine the porosity is large. Similarly, in a rock, let's assume the rock is something like a cube, right? This is our rock, and I'll draw a nice little cube. This is my cube, right? So this is my rock, and inside this rock I will show grains by spheres. This is a grain, this is also a grain, this is also a grain, this is also a grain, and this is the last corner, and this is also grain. Okay, so you can see that this grain is the space which is left over other than the grain and the bulk volume is the porosity, right? Now I'll draw a separate example, a separate drawing, and you will yourself tell which one has a greater porosity. So you will conclude by saying that the packing arrangement in a way decides the porosity. And then we will conclude with different types of packing arrangements and how to remember the porosity, and based on that one gate question has already been framed. Okay, so this is case A and this is case B. I'll draw one quick diagram. Please assume that these two cubes have the same dimensions. I'm just drawing the diagram just to make you understand something. So you see I have placed them very close together, right? So if I shade them, you can see that if I change the packing arrangement, this has a different packing arrangement, this has a different packing arrangement. So with a change in packing arrangement, the porosity is changing. Okay, and that's what is happening inside rocks. Why do different rocks have different porosities. Maybe they have a different packing arrangement, right? So different packing arrangements will give you different porosity. Let's try to understand this using a simple cubic structure. And that's a very popular packing arrangement, right? You can find this topic in any mechanical engineering book as well, and this is a topic we can take in the rock samples as well, right? Must have noticed I have come to a different arrangement myself. I used to be in a different room before, and now I'm in a brighter room. Let's hope things get brighter. Okay, so yeah, simple cubic. What happens in a simple cubic structure? The rock sample is assumed to be a cube like this, okay, and the cubes and the grains are assumed to be spherical. And you can imagine this room, okay, one corner will have a sphere, the other corner will have a sphere, 8 corners, 8 spheres. But the catch is that all of these spheres will touch each other, right? And that is how we will describe the simple cubic packing, okay? So let's assume this is one, this is another grain, this is another grain, this is another grain, and similarly in the back also, this is another grain, this is another grain, and this is at the very back, right? So if I try to shade this, these are the grains, okay, and this cube is the bulk volume of the rock. Alright, now whichever volume is not shaded will give you the porosity, right? And that is very important, because we are trying to find out the porosity for a simple cubic structure. Simple cubic structure, okay? So let's go for it. So you can see that if I try to draw the diagram a bit, if I try to, let's say the cube has a side of A, okay, and the spheres have a radius of R, okay, this is R. Now you can see that A equals 2R. This is our first observation, right? Now what is the volume of the sphere, volume of the cube? Now we are finding the volume of the cube, and what did I say? The cube is the rock. So the volume of cube is giving you the bulk volume of the rock, and which is equals to A cube, right? And since A is 2R, it is 8R cube. So this is bulk volume. We know the bulk volume, okay? Always target on the formula. What do you need? To calculate porosity, you need bulk volume, you need grain volume, and you need bulk volume, which is bulk volume, right? So you need bulk volume and grain volume, right? So bulk volume is sorted. Now we want to find the grain volume. Now this is important, because if you look at it, you can see that these are 8 grains, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But the part of these grains enclosed inside the rock is the representative grain volume of this rock. Heavy, right? The part of, for example, this grain is not totally belonging. ये पूरा grain इस rock का नहीं है. बाजू में जितने भी पड़े होंगे उनके साथ भी share हो रहा है ना. So this grain will be, a part of this grain will be for this rock, belonging to this rock, right? So if you imagine this side there will be 1 cube, this side there will be 1 cube, this side there will be 1 cube, and this side. So I'll leave you this as a homework. You can imagine that for every sphere placed at the corner of this cube, there will be 8 surrounding cubes which will share this sphere, right? So what we are trying to say is that the portion of this sphere that belongs to this particular cube will be equals to 1 by 8 times the volume of the sphere, right? So I'll try to clarify this. For example, if I place this say one sphere in the center of this cube, the entire volume of the sphere belongs to this cube now, not 1 by 8, but in this case 1 into Vs, right? So 1 by 8 times of Vs belongs to this cube, but in this case 1 times of Vs belongs to this cube. Hope things are clear, right? Now, so we will try to find out the effective number of spheres that belong to this cube, which is equals to 1 by 8 times of, because 1 by 8 of one sphere is belonging to this cube, and such spheres are 1 2 3 4 8 such spheres are there, so 8 times of 1 by 8, so effectively one sphere is belonging to this cube, right? And this we call as Z. Okay, so Z is equals to 1, and number of spheres, which is Z, multiplied by the volume of spheres will give you the grain volume, right? Think about it. Pause the video, think about it, right? So this is giving you the grain volume, and the grain volume can now be found as 1 multiplied by 4 by 3 pi r cube. Okay, this is what? Grain volume. Grain volume is 1 into 4 by 3 pi r cube, right? Now, this is our third observation, right? Now, porosity is what? Porosity is bulk volume minus grain volume divided by bulk volume. And now bulk volume is 8r cube. Grain volume is 4 by 3 pi r cube divided by bulk volume, which is 8r cube. You can solve it, you will get 0.4766, which is the porosity. How about that? Brilliant. So this is a porosity which we can derive about the simple cubic packing arrangement. So what we are trying to say is that, and mind you, if anyone asks you in an interview what is the highest possible porosity in a rock, this must be your answer, because beyond this you will never find a rock more porous than this, right? So this is the ideal highest porosity of a rock sample possible, right? Now I'll list down several other packing arrangements with their corresponding porosities, which is a very important prospect as per GATE. You don't have to remember the diagrams of all these, you will just remember the porosities, and it can come as a 1-mark question in GATE. Alright, so the packing arrangements are, I'll try to write it first letter wise. This is simple cubic packing. This is hexagonal. This is orthorhombic. This is tetragonal. This is rhombohedral. And this is, last one is triclinic. The corresponding porosities for each are, there is a way how you remember. For everyone who knows Hindi, just look at the first letters. CHO, cho, TE, te, chote, RHO, ro, T. So it is chote roti. Okay, what is it? Chote roti, right? This is how you remember the 6 different kinds of packing arrangements. C for chote, right? In English you write it as cho, te, ro, tri, right? So C stands for cubic, H stands for hexagonal, and O stands for orthorhombic, TE stands for tetragonal, RHO stands for rhombohedral, and TRI stands for triclinic. It sounds dumb, but it is very important to remember things like this, because this will help you at the end, right? So now the porosities of these things are 47.66%, then it is 39.5, so this is the trend, right? We'll go in highest to lowest, and every 2 elements in the center will have the same porosity. So 46, then 2 same, then 1 different, then 2 same, right? So it is 39.5, 39, so 30.2 percentage, 26 percentage and 26 percentage. Please note this down, it is very important. These porosities can come in any GATE examinations, and I guess 2 questions have already been framed. So these are the questions. Cubic packing arrangement has 47.6 percentage porosity, hexagonal has 39.5, orthorhombic has 39.5, tetragonal has 30, rhombohedral has 26%, triclinic has 26%, right? And the way to remember is different, same, same, different, same, same, right? And chote roti, right? So this is how you remember the porosities for packing arrangements. We'll move on to the next question for porosity. I'll try to rub it off. All right. Okay. So now I'll try to tell you how to find porosity by saturation method. For example, एक rock लिया है, उसका ड्राई वेट हमने पता कर लिया, अभी उसके अंदर सैचुरेशन किया, उसका वेट वेट हमने पता कर लिया, या फिर सैचुरेटेड वेट हमने पता कर लिया, तो इन दोनों इंफॉर्मेशन से हाउ कैन वी फाइंड आउट द पोरोसिटी ऑफ द रॉक? सो दैट इज हाउ वी विल फाइंड आउट, राइट? सो नोट डाउन दिस गिवन डेटा. Question 2 for today. The dry sample's weight is 18 gram. The volume of the dry sample is 9 centimeter cubes. And yeah, the density of sand grains is 2.65 centimeter cube, which is very important. You can note this down. It is the density of quartz, which is the grain or the matrix of a sandstone. You know, जब आप sandstone की बात कर रहे हो तो the rocky part of sandstone is basically quartz, whose density is 2.65 centimeter cube. ठीक है, तो अभी आपको ये दे रखा है ना, ये the V dry. What is this? This is bulk volume. In every porosity question, try to hit on these things: bulk volume and grain volume. Your life is sorted, dude. So bulk volume is 9 centimeter cube, right? The dry weight is 18 grams. And like I told you, the dry weight is constituted by the rock grains, which is nothing but sand, which is nothing but quartz, right? So the dry density is equals to mass per unit volume, right? So the grain density is given, the grain mass is given, the grain volume is not given. If we find this out, this we already know, we find out the porosity, simple as that, right? So Vg is equals to mass of grains, which is 18 grams divided by 2.65. I won't calculate this, you can do this. So grain volume is sorted, bulk volume is sorted, porosity is sorted, right? This is how you find out the porosity. We'll move on to the next question. As you solve these questions, you are doing a very great help to yourself, because you are trying to develop concepts which will help you at the end. Other than that, you're developing an intuition behind porosity. Intuition is my favorite word. Okay, so this is a different variation of question. Let's say the diameter, the core sample is, the rock sample is cylindrical, right? Say the diameter is given. Diameter is what? The diameter is 3.8 centimeter. The length is 10 centimeters. Okay, the dry weight is what? Let me just check. 275 grams. The wet weight is 295 grams, or the saturated weight. The fluid of saturation is, saturating fluid is brine. What's the density of brine? slightly more than water per se, but let's take it as equal to water, 1 gram per centimeter cube. Okay, so what we have to find out? We have to find out porosity. Okay, I'm here to tell you the methods to find these things, not how to use your Casio 991 MS, right? So this is how you will do this question. Solution is, okay, in the previous question the bulk volume was given to you explicitly. In this they have given you the dimensions. This thing they have given you, and this thing can be used to calculate the bulk volume, right? So what is the bulk volume of a cylinder? It is pi r square h, right? So it is 3.14 approximate value of pi r square. What is r square? 3.8 divided by 2 is r, right? 3.8 divided by 2 is r, pi r square into h. What is h? The length of the cylinder, which is 10 centimeter. This gives you the bulk volume of the rock sample. Now you can see that the dry weight was lighter as compared to the wet weight. So what must have happened is, wet weight is 295 grams. So what is happening is the additional 20 grams came as soon as you dip the sample inside water. So why has this weight come up? This weight has come up because of the fluid getting encroached into the rock sample. पानी घुस रहा है, पानी घुसने की वजह से उसका वेट बढ़ गया भाई. तो ये जो एक्स्ट्रा वेटेज है वो किसका है? It is the weight of fluid, right? So this is the weight of fluid is equals to wet weight minus dry weight. Brilliant. So it is 20 grams. Now this fluid, we know that this fluid is water. So this is how much water has gotten into the rock. 20 ग्राम पानी घुस गया है उसके अंदर. अभी 20 ग्राम पानी घुस गया है, एक 20 ग्राम पानी घुस गया और पानी की डेंसिटी 1 ग्राम्स पर सेंटीमीटर क्यूब है, तो कितना वॉल्यूम घुस गया है? 20 सेंटीमीटर क्यूब वॉल्यूम घुस गया है. कैसे घुस गया? रो इक्वल्स टू मास अपॉन वॉल्यूम फॉर वाटर, राइट? तो हमको ये पता चल गया कि वॉल्यूम ऑफ फ्लूइड इज 20 centimeter cube, and given that volume of fluid constitutes the place where fluid is residing, where would the fluid stay in the rock? The fluid would stay in the pores, right? So this is nothing but the pore volume. Let me ask you a very trick and very beautiful question. I say that this is the pore volume, but what kind of pore volume? Yeah, right. So this is effective porosity, effective pore volume, right? So this is effective pore volume. So basically when you are saturating, I said this in the previous lecture, when you are calculating porosity using the saturation method, you are actually calculating the effective porosity. So effective porosity will be bulk volume minus this pore volume. Okay, so we already know the pore volume, so you don't need, so you can directly find out pore volume divided by bulk volume. That's it, right? So this is one example, one more example of porosity. Let me just rub it off. Okay. As time goes on, I'll be uploading frequent lectures. Right now I'm just engaged in things, so you can expect a bit of delay while I upload, but I want to upload. It's not that I don't want to upload. Alright, so the next question. Oh, brilliant. The next question is a very important concept as far as GATE is concerned, as far as your concepts are concerned. We'll talk about Boyle's law porosimeter. What is Boyle's law, guys? Boyle's law is nothing but PV equals to constant. That is Boyle's law. In other words, it says that if your system is constant, right? and you are not allowing any leakage or any extra thing to enter, the number of moles of a particular gas in that system will not change even if you try to change the pressure or the volume of the system. That is Boyle's law, right? Initial P1 V1, final P1 V1, given there is no injection or production of gas, will give you the same number of moles of gas. That is why PV equals to constant, because ultimately PV equals to nRT, right? Now, so you're saying that PV equals to constant. What is right inside? It is nRT or ZnRT. Let's assume ideal gas. It is nRT, and you are saying it is constant. So that means number of moles is constant. So that is one more way to say it. We say that number of moles is also constant, right? So there are two cases we will be talking about. What is the setup? It is very important to understand the setup. Hota kya hai? We take two chambers. This is chamber 1. This is chamber 2. Write this down as case 1. Okay. These are the two chambers. Now there is a pipeline that connects these two chambers, and there is a pressure gauge over these two chambers. So there is a wall in this pipeline, whatever. So this is the wall, and okay. So in case 1 what is happening is, हो क्या रहा है, पहले इसका मान लो वॉल्यूम V1 है, V2 है, इसका प्रेशर P1 है, इसका प्रेशर P2 है, इसमें दोनों में एक पर्टिकुलर गैस है, and this is blocked from between, it's not connected. When the two things are not connected, they have different pressures, they can have different pressures. There is no possibility, there is no compulsion to say that these two have same pressures. So PV equals to constant, right? Or you can say number of moles is equals to constant, right? Or you can say that number of moles is proportional to PV. That is also true. So this is the initial stage. Initial stage mein number of moles is what? Number of moles lying down over here and number of moles lying down over here. Okay, so total number of moles is from the first chamber P1 V1 equals to N1 R T1. Let's say it is constant temperature. So number of moles in first chamber is P1 V1 by RT1. So we don't have to write P1 V1 by RT, right? And the number of moles in the second chamber is N2 equals to P2 V2 by RT. So the total number of moles initial is equals to N1 plus N2, or you can say that it is P1 V1 plus P2 V2 upon RT. This is first equation, and this is the initial stage. Now in the second stage, what happens is, in the second step of this setup, what happens is, and now we place a rock sample in this core, in this chamber. We didn't allow any gas to leak or something. We have a rock sample placed in the second chamber. Now what's happening is, and we open the valve, we open this. Now gas can flow through it. So what will happen is, ultimately both the chambers will have the same pressure. But the volume where the gas will now occupy space is this volume plus this volume. Imagine this is very small, this volume plus the, not this overall chamber volume, but this overall chamber volume minus the grain volume, because grain is where gases cannot stay, right? So the final stage, the number of moles for final stage is, number of moles for final stage will be P. What is the volume for gas to stay? V1 plus V2 minus Vg. Divided by RT. Just for those who are new to gas law, PV equals to nRT. The V is the volume of container or the space where gas can reside. Okay. Now, and I is known and F is known, and applying this n equals to constant, we will find out a new equation, which is both these equations can be substituted or equated. The RT to RT will be cancelled out. So this is P1 V1 plus P2 V2 equals to P V1 plus V2 minus Vg, right? Now in this equation, this is the final, I'll square it out. This is known, this is known, this is known, this is known. Pressure, final pressure is known because gauge will tell you. Volume V1 is known, this is known. We can find out Vg. This bulk volume is easily find out. It's never a mystery. The bulk volume can be found out using what? The bulk volume can be found out using Archimedes or dimensions. So ultimately the grain volume is found out. Alright. So if anyone asks you what is the Boyle's law porosimeter helping you to find out, it is trying to help you find out the grain volume. Now once the grain volume is there, the bulk volume is there, can you find out the porosity? Brilliant. That's it. I'll give you an example just for this case as a homework assignment, and then you can contact me by mail and you can check for answers if you want, and we can discuss. I focus on concepts more than, like I said, calculations can be, developed by perfection. Okay, right. So the home task is you have to find out the porosity. So let's say the volume of the first container is 50 centimeter cube. The volume of the second container is 100 centimeter cube. The pressure in the first container is 100 psi. The pressure in the second container, this is initial condition guys, okay? The pressure in the second container is 80 psi. We don't have to worry about units because ultimately both the sides are same units, so they'll get cancelled out. The final pressure of the overall system after you open the valve up is 90 psi. What is the porosity of this? Okay, porosity is fine, but let's say bulk volume is 30 cc. I hope it was okay. Okay, so find out the grain volume. This is the main calculation. Find out the grain volume. If bulk volume is wrong, you can tell me. But yeah, the ultimate task is to find out grain volume, and then you can find out the bulk volume and the porosity. Okay, so this is it for today, and we talked about porosity and we talked about questions. In the next lectures, we'll be talking about scalp properties. We will be talking about very important properties like wettability. We'll be talking about porosity, capillary pressure, relative permeability, interfacial tension, and these things where we'll get to interacting with the rock, thinking about what's going on with the rock, how fluids are interacting with the rock, and what will cause the mobility and what will restrict the mobility of fluids. So we'll cover that in the next lecture. See you soon. Thanks a lot. Signing off.